Once upon a time, there was a small village nestled in the foothills of a vast mountain range. The villagers were a hard-working lot, and their lives were defined by the rhythms of the seasons. They planted their crops in the spring, tended to them during the summer, harvested them in the fall, and hunkered down for the winter. One year, however, something strange happened. Desperate, the villagers began to pray to the mountain. They believed that it held the key to their survival, that it was the source of the rain that they so desperately needed. And so they made a pilgrimage to the mountain's peak, carrying with them offerings of fruit and grain and wine. As they climbed higher and higher, the air grew thin and the path grew treacherous, but they pressed on, driven by a fierce determination to save their village from certain doom. When they finally reached the top, they found a small temple nestled among the crags and boulders. And there, sitting in the temple's entrance, was a small, wizened old man. "Who are you?" the villagers asked, awed by the sight of him. "I am the guardian of the mountain," the old man replied. "We have come to ask for your help." The villagers said, "Our crops have failed, and we are in dire straits. Please, can you bring the rain?" The old man regarded them for a moment, then nodded. "I will help you," he said. "But you must first promise me one thing." "What is it?" the villagers asked. "You must promise never to forget the power of the mountain," the old man said. "You must remember that it is the source of all life, and that, without it, you are nothing." The villagers readily agreed, and the old man set to work. He spent hours in prayer and meditation, communing with the mountain and asking it to send the rain. And finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the skies opened up and the rain came pouring down. The villagers were overjoyed. They danced and sang and feasted, grateful for the gift of life that the mountain had given them. And for a time, they kept their promise, never forgetting the power of the mountain. But as the years passed, they began to take the mountain for granted. They became complacent, believing that the rains would always come and that the mountain would always provide for them. And so they stopped making offerings, stopped coming to the temple, stopped praying to the guardian of the mountain. And then, one year, the rains stopped coming. Desperate, they made their way back up the mountain, back to the temple, back to the old man who had once saved them. But when they arrived, they found that he was no longer there. The temple was empty and the mountain was silent. And so the villagers realized, too late, the terrible mistake they had made. They had forgotten the power of the mountain, and now they were paying the price. The message of this story is clear. Never take for granted the things that sustain us, whether it be the land, the water, or the air. We must always remember that they are gifts, and that we have a responsibility to care for them, to honor them, and to keep them safe. Only then can we hope to live in harmony.